Hi all, welcome to my channel, welcome to my world. This is the world of Wayne and happy Monday. Today we're going to be doing box 11 of the Agora Models release, a build the A6M Zero Fighter. We haven't done this for a while, have we? Now, aside from doing the base, which is behind me at the moment, which we're going to be doing in this one, let me just quickly show you where we are with the plane at the moment. As you see, this is the plane that we've been working on before. Just show you underneath as well. And that's what the underside is looking like at the moment. Very heavy it is. Show you the tail section here, if I can get that round. We've still got this side to put on here. And if I show you on the main camera, this will give you an idea of actually how big it is. It's ginormous. Now today we're going to be working on the lifters. We're going to be putting some more details on the plane, including the actual propeller which we made in the first two packs, and the casing here with all of the exhaust, so that's going to be going on as well. So if you want to get this for yourself, I have put the link in the video description to the Agora Models website. You can get this all the way from pack 1. But without further ado, let's get cracking. So it's all going to start with stage 85, which I've got in the pack here. And as you can see, we've got another base for the lifter here, and we've got some more electrics. Now this part of the electrics is what's going to power the actual Zero Fighter through this plug here, and that's going to be going into this tube. So quite simply, we're just going to thread these wires in, and as you can see, we've got a hole here to put a screw. We've also got a like hole just onto the plug here. So we're going to line those two holes up, just like that, and get this screwed into place. Now this is going to be screwed in with one of the tiny single screws that we get in this pack. So I'm just going to make sure I've lined that up correctly. Put that in. Now we've got this power connector here as well. We're just going to be plugging in these leads here. It shouldn't matter which ones we're plugging this into. Just making sure I've lined up these correctly. So one in this side and one in this side. Just like that. And then in a similar fashion, we're going to be putting these cables in here, sliding them down, so that then this power supply here can go in the other side. I'm going to use some flat nose pliers just to help me push that down. Just like that. And again, we're going to line up the hole. Just seeing where that is. There it is. And push that into place there. Once again, held in with one of the small screws. So basically this power supply now has got a complete channel through each terminal here on both sides. We can put that to one side because we need to bring over some items now. We've got this plastic base, we've got the power supply which came in stage 84, and that looks like this. This is a real chunky one, that looks like that there. And quite simply, this is just going to go over the holes that we've got in there like that. It's going to be held in with 3 of the medium-sized screws here. Excellent. They're all in. That's nice and rigid in there. We then got 2 lifters to put into place, or 2 posts. They look like these. These came in stage 83. We're going to have one just going in that side and one going in that side like that. This whole thing then is ready to go on the base that we've got here. So it's going to go just like this, just lining up where these lifters go. And on top of it, we've got this cage to put on. This looks like this. It's going to be going on this way, just over the top like that. Now, before we put this in, we want to make sure that this wire here is going over the top of this lip here. So I'll feed that through. Just like that. And then what that's going to do, it's going to enable this whole section here to actually be clipped into the base, which I'm just lining up here. I've already lined up some screws with it as well, sorry. And then secure this down with 6 screws, 3 on each side. So that's excellent. So when that's in place, as you see, this section here is free to go up and down, just like that. Now we've finished this, we're going to put that one to one side. And we're going to be bringing over one of the lifters from the previous stage. And on that, we're going to be putting this motor in. Now this motor, I believe, came in stage, I think it was 67. As you see, we've got a cam on that. We want the cam just to go through the base here, just like this, wrap the wire around, and then we're going to sit the motor into position just like that. Then on top of that, we have got some tabs to put in. They are different. We've got one that's a long tab and one that's a short tab. And we did get some screws in issue 63, which look just like this. And they're just going to be going in. As you can see, I've already lined these up just to go into this lifter. So now we've got the first lifter connected to the motor. But that is that motor and lifter complete. So putting that to one side, we need to bring up the base now. So here is the base and what we've done so far on it. And this first lifter is going to go into these sockets just here, and it's going to fit on just like that. And that's going to be held in with these flanged 6306 screws. And there you go. That is the first lifter in place. Now in a similar fashion, we're going to be styling the next lifter, this one here that we've been working on before, in exactly the same way. And we're going to be putting that next to this. So I'll do that. We'll come back and see what that looks like. Now I'm just coming to the end of screwing these in. I've got 3 more screws to put in, but as you can see, they face exactly the same direction as the one we put in here. I've put the motor in this one, just here, like I did with the last one there. And I'm just putting the last couple of screws in to keep these into place. Now these are in so secure, held in by 6 anchor points. There's no way these are moving. But there you go. Those 2 are in, and that's all there is to do in that stage. I can't believe how much there was to do in that stage. There was loads. Okay, we're going to be actually going back to the plane now, because you see we've got some tail sections here. I'll bring up the plane here and I'll try and get this so you can actually see what we're doing. And basically we've got the lower part of the tail here, which is going to go underneath, and this is going to go into the lugs that we can just see here. And I have held that just in with my hands there, because then we're going to be putting the top over here, but that's going to be glued in. It's held in, as you can see, by all of these lugs on this side. So we need to make sure we've got glue in all of these points, so that's going to be reaching. So I'm just going to drop a little bit of glue just into each point, just like this, and put the other side of the tail on and clip them together just like that. Perfect. So I'm going to hold that into place for a second, make sure the flaps still work at the back, which they do, and that is perfect. So as you can see, tail's on there. If I turn that over, that's what it looks like from that side. Now the front section of the plane, which we're meant to be putting in, I must have put in earlier, because they want us to put this little bit in here. I've already done that, as you can see, but we have got this ring to put over the top now. So I have taken just this exhaust off the top just for a second so I can get this on. We have got 4 locating lugs on here. So we're going to be putting these into place, and then we're going to be fitting them in with 2 screws into the holes here. So I'm going to line these up where they go. 1, 2, and the bottom one's there. And let's put 2 of these small screws through here. And these screws are in this pack. They're these tiny ones here. Get them out. They just go into the holes just at the bottom. So 1 there, and just 1 on the other side there. There we go. That's not moving. That's perfect. We then get to put the exhaust in. And that's just going on to this point just at the top here. And that is all there is to do in that stage. So in stage 87, we're going to be doing the other lifting device now, but this is the power supply for that. So let's bring this up. Lots of gears in this one. So I'm going to be taking this side here, and as you can see, we have got 3 holes for shafts to go in. Now all the shafts I've got here are pretty much the same size. So that's 1, 2, and 3. And I am just going to get my hammer on them just to make sure they're in as far as I can get them. I'm happy with that. Bring over the worm gear motor, and this time we need to feed this wire through here just like that there. And the worm gear is just going to be sitting that way round into this channel like that. We then got another crankshaft to put on. Now the longer end of that crankshaft is going to go into this side here, so it comes up from the bottom there. And then we're going to start putting all the gears into place. So on the one closest to the motor is the gear that's going to go into the worm. It's got the fatter side to it. Then we've got a medium size going next to it, just like that. And then a smaller one going next to that. As you can see, they are now interlinked. And then over the big one here, we've got this large one. We need to make sure this is downwards, and it has got a pattern. It's a D-shaped pattern. So we just put this in the way it goes. Make sure that's engaged, and there we go. It's fully locked in. Completed. So all we've got to do now, just put the lid on. Make sure put the lid on the right way. Making sure I'm not pinching any wires, and that all of those shafts are actually engaged into the holes on the other side here, which they are. And you heard that click into place. You can make sure that's still engaged because it shouldn't be able to move, just like that. And there we go. That's the motor done. Now we're going to put that motor into this lifting mechanism that we got here, exactly like last time. So I'll lift this up, put the shaft in there, line that up down here like that. So now that's in place. And then in a similar way to what we've done previously, we've got these tabs here to put over, one this side and one that side with some screws, just to keep that into place. So that's motors in secure. All that's left to do now is take the shaft that we created right at the start of this, and we're actually going to be putting this into this lifter here, all the way down. And there we go, that lifter's into place. Should look like that. And that's all there is to do in that stage. Now this one looks an absolutely fantastic stage. As you can see, we're going to be putting the engine, canopy and air intake in place. We do have some decals here as well. So I'm just bringing the engine up here, and I'm going to be putting the propeller on. Now this tab here slides into the tab just at the top, and it should fit quite neatly in there. Just like that. You heard that push in then. Hang on. Excellent. And there we go. That's the engine on the plane. Now if you're unsure, you can take these off. Just see how that's seated. Looks to be pretty good. Now I can actually see that part out the bottom of the engine there. We've got this piece here, which is going to go over the top and into that spindle to stop the engine coming out in future. So push it in, push this bit down, and you heard that click into place there. That's in. And now that engine is fully engaged in there. That's not going anywhere. And there we go. That's the front on. That looks absolutely brilliant. I'm so happy that that's all gone together fine. So now we've got that pin in place. We're going to start putting the cockpit in place. So the first bit of glazing has got a little lug at the front. It's just going to go in here. The middle one's sort of going to go like here on a slide. And then the back one's got a plate that's going to go in here just like that. And then we'll have the back window going on top of that, kind of like that there. So I can push this one into place, just over the points here. And just over the top of that, we're then going to be putting the back window in. That clips into place as well, just in these 2 points there. That looks brilliant. I love it. Absolutely love it. So as you can see, this slides backwards and forwards. I'm just going to mount the front window in properly. I'm going to put the decals to one side because I've got one other thing left to put on, because I just want to make this air intake. Got a few bits here to put together. So we've got this section here first, which is going to slot round the front like that, so it looks like that from behind. And then we've got the top to put on just like that, which is going to require a little bit of glue. Do have some glue just here. Put that on the inside edges, 1 and 2. Should be enough to keep that into place. That looks good. So there we go. That's the air intake done. Now I'm bringing the plane over and I'm just holding it here. They want this panel in here, which I've already put in, so I haven't got to do that one. But the air intake is just going underneath this section here, just onto the 2 pins like that. Make sure we put it round the right way. So the big lug and the small lug do match, and just push that into place. So as you can see, that is what that looks like. And that is the end of that stage. How cool is that looking? And I do like how this opens and closes. That's brilliant. So for stage 89, we're back to the main base for the plane here. So I'm just getting all these parts out. So I've just brought up the base, so then what I'm going to do, it's probably going to be best on the side camera, but in this corner here, I am going to be putting a brace in. Now that looks just like this here, and that's just going to go on the edge there, held in with the large screws that we've been using all the time through this base. And as you can see, here's the second one going in, and that's the corner braces in place. Just for the minute, I can just put that to one side, because I'm going to be making this part of the base. And once again, I have got sort of like a speaker grill here, which is just going to go over the front this way round like that. It's going to be pinned into place with just this point here. And once again, that's going to be held in with 2 of the smaller screws that we've got here in this stage. So that's in place, and that's what it looks like from that side. Once again, bring up the base, and this time this is going to extend out from this side over here. So I do have a bracket for that, which is going to go in here just like that. Once again, I'm going to secure that in with the smaller screws. And then the last bracket we're going to put in place looks just like this. That's just going to go on the side here, using the screws that we've been using all the time on this base. Get very hard to show you now, but if you have a look at that, that's that extra one in there. That's all there is to do in that stage. Now in issue 90 here, as you can see, we've got a wing here. We've also got some screws, and then on the other side here, we've got some decals. Now we don't actually do anything with stage 90. We need to put that to one side and keep that safe for when we do actually attach the wing to the plane. So that brings us on to stage 91. Now what I'm going to do again with this one is I'm actually just going to be taking out these base pieces here. As a matter of fact, I don't even need this piece, so I can put that back in the bag because all of that is going to be used later on as well. I do need to bring up the stand though, and it's basically this area that I'm interested in, because we're actually going to be taking the motor here. And this time with the motor facing these 2 motors, we're actually going to be putting this into position. So this is actually just going to be going right there. So I'm going to screw that down with our usual screws. So once again, it's going to take 6 screws to put these into place. And there we go. That's that one in place there. Then all I need is this section there, which is going to go and hold these 2 plates in the middle. Once again, we're going to hold these down with the same screws. And here's the last one here. What we want to save everything that we've got in the pack that looks like this. We're not going to be using that, and that is all there is to do in that stage. Which means in an exactly same way as we did last time, issue 92, we've got a wing here and we've got the decals. We need to keep this one safe as well. So that means we've got 2 sides of the wings. They're going to be done in the next pack. But that is all there is to do in this pack. So aside from the base, check that out. I really am happy with how that's looking. That looks great. So that is the Zero Fighter at the moment, which means, just gently putting that down, we've only got one more pack to go, and I'm sure that's going to be here in no time whatsoever. But if you want to get this for yourself, I have put the link down here to the Agora Models website. You can get that all the way from pack 1. But I really hope you liked that video. If you did, please remember to give me a thumbs up. And if you haven't subscribed already, please remember to subscribe. Other than that, take care.